I've been gone for literally a minute and I'm back with the jump off, y'all. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, y'all, what's up? It's Taria. Thank you for watching another What Else Is Going On, aka WEIGO podcast YouTube video. You can find the audio version of the podcast wherever it is you find all of your podcasts. What Else Is Going On with Taria S. Faith on Apple, iTunes, well, same thing, but y'all know what I mean. Spotify, Amazon Music, all that stuff. Episodes drop every Tuesday and Friday. Thank y'all again for watching. There are two Bravo news things that I wanted to come and talk to y'all about. We talking about lawsuits. Lawsuits are everywhere. Reality TV, real life, everyday life. Lawsuits just abound, honey. These lawyers is getting paid. I remember there was a period of time when I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to either be a lawyer or a on the news, like a newscaster. So, welcome to ABC News. I am your anchor, Taria S. Faison, and let's get into some news now. I used to live in Jersey, so I remember sending away for information to be an intern at ABC News in Philly. Life didn't happen that way, but you know what? Hey, life happens. So let's get into this Bravo news that I wanted to talk to y'all about. First up, Brandi Glanville, y'all, I know that y'all have heard, if you're into Bravo, the lawsuit that Caroline Manzo brought against Bravo and NBC Universal, not against Brandi herself, Brandi Glanville. However, she was named in the lawsuit. And it looks like there has been a bit of a victory, if you will, for Brandi Glanville. So let's get into this. According to Taste of Reality on Instagram, taste of underscore reality, Brandi Glanville tweeted, "It only took 15 months, a lawsuit, and me going through hell for the truth to start coming out." Caption, Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip exec producer claims Brandi Glanville disrespected Caroline Manzo, but did not actually violate her. An executive producer of Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip claims in new court documents that Caroline Manzo felt disrespected by Brandi Glanville, but wasn't actually violated by her. As Page Six previously reported, the Real Housewives of New Jersey alum sued Bravo and Peacock earlier this year, claiming the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills alum harassed her and kissed her without her consent. I believe she's without the consent at the behest of production, meaning production kind of egged her on while they filmed in Morocco. Manzo, 62, also claimed in court documents that Glanville, 51, then proceeded to mount Manzo on the couch, holding Manzo down with her body, forcibly squeezing Manzo's cheeks together, and thrust her tongue in Manzo's mouth while humping her. So I'm not sure how this will play out in terms of Caroline's case, but also in terms of, I believe Brandi is also suing. Isn't Brandi also suing the network? So now, and I wonder if that's the reason they're just now speaking up saying, oh, she didn't violate her, but she disrespected her. She shouldn't have disrespected her either. So we'll have to see how this plays out. We know that Brandi Glanville is very, very, very vocal. Did y'all like her when she was on Beverly Hills? I liked her for 2 seconds. I didn't like the way Kyle, and thinking back now, the way Kyle and Kim went after her. You're a slut pig. You're a slut pig. Isn't that what Kim said to Brandi? But again, my like for her lasted 2 seconds. I hate it when she revealed on camera that Adrienne Maloof used surrogates for her children, and the children didn't even know yet. I forget how old her boys were at the time, but they bleeped that out. Remember? I remember that was like a big thing that they actually bleeped out because they were saying that they never did that. If you said it and they called it, it was going to air. That's what they said back then. So I'm not a fan of Brandi. Her son and my son do attend the same college, though, and I had often wondered if we'd be room mothers together. I remember taking my son back his second year. He goes to Chapman University in Orange County, and I remember taking him back his second year and seeing that Brandi's son was moving in, and I asked someone if they would tweet her and ask her if she wanted to be room mothers because she blocked me a long time ago. And I wasn't even saying anything rude or even talking to her. So how she found it, I don't know. But anyway, I guess this is good news for Brandi. Something still happened. So I guess we'll just continue to follow this story and see where it ends up. But we're probably never getting that season of Ultimate Girls Trip, and we'll probably never get another one, I'm thinking. What do y'all think? Another lawsuit. Bravo. This is according to Radar Online. Ex-Vanderpump Rules star Faith Stowers sues Bravo for alleged discrimination years after accusations against Stassi Schroeder and Kristen Dude. Ex-Vanderpump Rules star Faith Stowers slapped Bravo and NBC Universal with a bombshell lawsuit over alleged discrimination and retaliation. According to court documents obtained by who else? RadarOnline.com. Stowers, that's her last name, powerhouse lawyers Mark Garagos and Brian Friedman said, this case concerns Faith Stowers, a former cast member on Bravo's popular reality TV show, Vanderpump Rules, who appeared on 51 episodes as the show's only Black cast member before being driven out by a vicious campaign of racist harassment and retaliation. Hold up. Faith was on 51 episodes of Vanderpump Rules? I did not know that at all. Stowers was recruited to the show by Lisa Vanderpump to add more color to the cast, the lawsuit said. Although she had never set out to be a reality star, Stowers was excited by the opportunity and accepted the offer. She was paid a total of $5,000 her first season. Very quickly, however, Stowers realized that she was getting more than she bargained for, the suit read. Stowers was subjected to racism, sexual harassment, and physical assault in her first season. Stowers claimed after she reported the mistreatment to NBC and show producers, she was warned in no uncertain terms to keep quiet and play nice. Driven by concern for her career and fear about how she might otherwise be portrayed on air, Stowers reluctantly did so, only to discover that she had been nominally demoted to an unpaid volunteer without any actual change in her employment status. Over time, her treatment got even worse. Many cast members embarked on an overtly racist social media harassment campaign accusing her of having gone AWOL from the military, which was false, of being a thief, false, and being a career criminal wanted by the LAPD. False, the suit read. A side note, I remember I was in Vegas with the hubby. I believe it was I'm pretty sure it was Vegas, 2016. And I was getting ready to go, we were getting ready to go out that evening. So I was in the bathroom, doing makeup, getting dressed. And I remember listening to a podcast with Stassi. And I believe it was Kristen too, or it was Stassi and maybe another podcaster, Jackie Schimmel. And they were laughing about Faith, saying that she went AWOL from the Army, that's a big deal, and saying that she stole Jax's jacket, that Jax had a jacket that she stole, and then they thought she may have stolen his car. These are things that they said on this podcast, so they definitely were painting a narrative about her. So it says being a thief and being a career criminal wanted by the LAPD, which is false, which they did. They did say that there was a warrant for her and that she was wanted. And I believe Kristen even called the police. She found out where Faith was going to be, I believe, and called the police to say where she was. NBC and producers, which tightly control the cast public statements. I'm sorry, let me see something. Lord, what just happened to? Okay. Which tightly controls the public's. I'm sorry, let me go back. So they accused her of going AWOL, which was false, being a thief, which was false, being a career criminal, which was false, and wanted by the LAPD. NBC and producers, which tightly control the cast public statements and messaging, condoned, ratified, and amplified these vicious lies, causing untold harm to Stowers' mental health and reputation. To make matters worse, NBC threatened her with ruinous legal action when she attempted to speak out. Stowers said in the wake of George Floyd's murder and social protests, producers belatedly terminated several cast members for behavior they had long known about. At no point did they ever reach out to Stowers herself. Yep, that was when Stassi and Kristen were fired. And then a little while later, right, Jax and Brittany weren't brought back. At the time, Stassi Schroeder and Kristen Duke were fired over the accusations against Stowers. In her suit, Stowers says, now that the racial reckoning of 2020 has receded for Bravo, let's say that again. Now that the racial reckoning of 2020 has receded, NBC and show producers have reverted to their old ways. A Vanderpump Rules spinoff entitled The Valley debuted in March 2024, starting a who's who of the 2020 chopping block. Dude was brought back to star in The Valley. And Stassi said she was asked, but she said no. Stowers' lawyer Mark Grigeros and Brian Friedman tell RadarOnline.com, NBC and Evolution clearly believe that workplace safety rules, employment laws, and basic decency do not apply to those in reality TV. Vicious assaults, racist harassment, and impugning the service of veterans are apparently acceptable to NBC and Evolution for the sake of ratings. Faith did not know what kind of cesspool she had found herself in and reported this unlawful behavior to her superiors. In response, she was demoted to volunteer and stripped of her already meager compensation. Stowers' lawsuit demanded unspecific damages. I've heard people, well, I've seen comments after this came out yesterday, people saying, why didn't she speak up sooner? Why she didn't do this sooner? I hate that. Because we've seen people do it too. Some of the victims that have spoken out against Diddy and victims of other assaults and things. The first question is, why didn't they speak out sooner? Second, I will say that she has been trying to speak out. I've heard her on different platforms trying, but then it's like, basically she's being shut down. So she hasn't been able to really speak out about the specifics and what happened. I cannot imagine being in her position, right? You're treated differently by this cast. You're one of the only Black cast members. You're treated differently. Now, we're not going to bring up her sleeping with Jax while he was with Brittany yet. Because being treated differently for that and the cast not liking you and not wanting to hang around you because you slept with their friend's boyfriend, that's to be expected. But even before that, with the racial stuff, you're being treated this way. And then fast forward, and then the people get fired for treating you this way in the wake of 2020, when a lot of folks that don't look like me all of a sudden had these rationalities, these thoughts, right? We're learning different things. Because I'm going to be honest, you know, when you talk about race and different things, and especially in Bravo, people that don't look like me, I don't expect you to know the nuances and different things of what I deal with, you know, being a Black woman. However, when I speak about it, I do expect to not either for you to not try to silence me or for you to make excuses for said treatment because you haven't experienced it. And I think that's where a lot of non-Black folks go wrong. You don't get to tell me that my experience with racism, you don't see it that way, or you think a person meant it a different way. You don't get to do that when I've lived my life as a Black woman, my whole life. You know, so that's one thing that definitely irritates me when a Black person is trying to speak out about their experiences. Non-Black folks can be quick to say, oh, I don't think they meant it that way. Or, oh, I don't see it that way. I don't care how you see it because you haven't experienced it. So, although I don't expect you to know when I'm speaking about it, I do expect you to respect it and listen. And if you have questions, be my guest. Ask all the questions. If you don't understand something, ask all the questions. Understand I'm not obligated to be your teacher, but you can ask. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, back to them. So I just imagine being on this show. And, you know, as Black folks, y'all watching, y'all know non-Black folks don't always have to tell you how they feel about Black folks. We pick up on the vibes, little innuendos, little things. People say little jokes people make. We just know. It's like when I was watching Salt Lake City in Jenny. It didn't have to come out. The stuff with Jenny from Salt Lake City. I remember having a conversation with other Black friends, like, I ain't really, whether you like Mary or not, I ain't really feeling the way she kind of came at Mary didn't do nothing to her. I kind of feel like she don't really like us. We know the feelings, right? But anyway, so imagine being on this show, being the only, right? And getting this treatment. Fast forward 2020 comes and there's a racial reckoning within Bravo. And they dropping Black folks on franchises. One, mind you, one of us on franchises, and having a movement, not a moment. That actually is still just a moment. But anyway, you see all this stuff happening. And then they, after the fact, fire these two women, right? That behaved a certain way towards you. Never reach out to you and apologize and say, wow, I see what was happening. I'm sorry. Nothing, just like you don't even exist. But to make themselves feel better, they fire these white women, only to turn around and for both of these white women to be offered to be on the show. Now, Stassi declined, Kristen didn't. And I don't know if y'all watched The Valley, but in this latest episode, race and homophobia is brought up again. Kristen repeated something that allegedly one of the other castmates said, and they got one Black girl on this cast. So they're repeating this in front of her. And it was interesting to watch a cast full of white folks talk about race and racism, especially Kristen, right? And I will say, Kristen did actually reach out to Faith directly and apologize. That other one, Stassi, did not. She just went on Tamron Hall and said that she learned a lot with her race coach. But anyway, I digress. So imagine and Kristen sat on that couch this week, y'all, at the Valley and said, I was canceled. You were not canceled. You're sitting on your new show. Canceled means you don't exist anymore. If I have canceled your contract, we don't have a contract. If I have canceled you, canceled means you do not, whatever it is, doesn't exist anymore in your orbit. You are back on our screens on TV. You had a podcast before you got back on the Valley. So you were not canceled. But she's crying about being canceled as she sits on a TV show. And if I was the Black woman that they mistreated, I'm watching this and I would be pissed off. So I get why she decided to sue. I'm not going to lie. There is another part of me that was like, is this opportunistic? Is she capitalizing off of the available moment? Sure. Maybe she is. But maybe that's the only option she has to get it done. I don't know. I just hope that whatever she's owed, I hope that she gets. I'll just say it like that. I remember Lala even said she used to leave stuff out, like leave things out around to see if Faith would steal it. And then Lala said she pulled a knife on Faith. Girl, she had the right one because the way Lala would never be able to point them fingers when she said you want to get popped, the way she would never be able to point. But yeah, so shout out to you, Faith. In terms of the racism stuff, I really do hope that you can find closure, peace, get what you're looking for, and not sleep with anybody else's man like you did with Jackson. Jackson, all people, Faith. Jax looked like he don't even wash the bottom of his feet. Like he gets in the shower and doesn't wash his feet or like his hands, his fingernails. So it's like his fingernails are black and the bottoms of his feet. I don't know what y'all think. Anyway, y'all, thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to y'all later. Pray for me because I really am now about to go back out in these here streets. Bye, y'all.